When money gets involved, things get weird. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about this crazy story about Michael Oher from the movie The Blind Side. We'll get into that in a minute if you've not seen it. But he alleges that the story of the movie about how he was a troubled young black man from the Memphis, Tennessee area and was wanting somewhere to live, was homeless and had no direction, gets adopted by a white family and they help him go to college and then the NFL and live happily ever after. That story or pieces of it were untrue, and the family that adopted him did not really adopt him. And instead, they put him on a conservatorship and they robbed him of millions of dollars. That's the allegation. That's the story. And it gets really deep. But before we go into any articles and the details or whatnot, let's just give you a visual representation of what's happening now. That is Michael Oher. This is after, of course, he graduated or left college, went to the NFL. That's his adoptive, well, not really adoptive father. We'll talk about that. But for this video, I'll say adoptive father. That's the adoptive father and the mom. And then I think that's his brother, sister. I'm not sure what that is. Might be another sister or somebody else. And I think that might be his boy. Okay, so nice, big, happy family. Everything's all good. And according to the adoptive family, the Tuohys, they say up until about a year and a half ago, everything was all good between them and Michael. But there's been a schism as of late. Okay, now here is another picture. Now, this is him when he was at Ole Miss. There's his adoptive father and mother. And what you see on the left-hand side is the movie where this man right here, young man, played him as a youth. And that's Sandra Bullock playing the mother. I think she got an Academy Award for this. I'm not quite sure. If y'all know about that, let me know in the comments below. But the movie, The Blind Side, about his story was a smash hit. It made like $300 million in the box office. It was a really big movie, and it's still spoken about to this day. And that came out back in like, what, 07 or before then? It's been out for quite a long time, but it's still a very successful and widely known movie. But there's a lot of problems. First of all, Michael Oher had issues with the movie going back years ago. So when I'm hearing about the movie and there being problems, that's not actually new information. It's pretty old information. He said back then that the whole thing about him being kind of developmentally disabled, kind of slow, unable to learn, low IQ, a lot of that was overblown and it wasn't really true. That's what he said. All right. Now, I don't have any way to confirm it, but that's what he said in subsequent interviews and whatnot. So he didn't really embrace the movie at all, ever. It's only recently that I've heard about the conservatorship and the money and things of that nature. Okay, now let's give some context. Okay, the father here is a booster or was a booster for Ole Miss. And when Michael here expressed interest in going to Ole Miss, there was a phone call with the NCAA, between the NCAA and the father, and they told him, hey, if you want Michael to go to Ole Miss, you guys need to appear to be a family. And what that meant was adoption, essentially, but they did not adopt him. They signed him on a conservatorship. Now, the excuse is that since he was 18 at the time, they had to do that because they could not legally adopt him. Now, I don't know what the laws were back then when that happened, but as of right now, today, you can adopt adults in Tennessee and Mississippi. Now, I think the Tuohys lived in Shelby County or nearby. And if you know about Tennessee, that's Mississippi bordering. Okay, it's right there. But in both Tennessee and Mississippi, you can adopt adults. So I don't know what happened, why they couldn't adopt them. Maybe the laws have changed since then. But the problem is, since there was a conservatorship, A, he's still on it at age 37. That's why the whole court action is happening right now. So he's able to get off it. But B, the parents are able to make business deals in his name. And Michael Oher is saying, hey, you guys have made millions of dollars off the movie The Blind Side, and I've not gotten a penny. The Tuohys say, hey, We didn't make much money on it. We made $14,000 and you got the same amount of money. And when I say we made 14,000, I'm talking about everybody in the family, the adoptive father, the mother, the siblings, and also Michael. $14,000 each when the movie came out. But they're saying, when I say they, I mean the lawyers and whatnot for Michael Oher, that there's been more money made from the movie beyond the 14,000, and the father and the mother, or at least the father, got 225,000 in the cash payment plus royalties. So there's a lot being said here, a lot of money on the table. And again, to be clear, Michael Oher is still under a conservatorship, the same thing Britney Spears had with her father at age 37. That's why we got court action going on right now. So when people say it's like Colin Kaepernick getting mad about his white parents and trying to be woke, I don't think that's what's happening here. I think the lawyers for Michael Oher saw some things that look crazy and they're going to court to sort it out. I don't know if Michael Oher himself wanted to do this. I don't know. Maybe he did, but I think it's more about the lawyers seeing some things and it's like, okay, we got to get this tightened up. Like, what's going on here? Michael thought he was adopted, but he was not adopted. You see the headline right here. The Tuohys never adopted me. It was a conservatorship. And again, as of right now, in both Mississippi and Tennessee, you can adopt adults. And I read that it's easier to adopt an adult than it is to adopt a child. As long as the adult agrees to it, they're on the same page with the adoptive family, it's all good. No problem. Sign paperwork and it's fine. The same thing they did for the conservatorship, signing papers, you could do for an adoption. And then some say, well, look, he signed the paper. He didn't know what he was reading. Maybe they're right about him not being all the way there and having low IQ. People sign documents every single day that they don't know about. Okay, you go on your phone and they say, okay, update to the brand new version of the operating system and agree to the terms of service. There's a contract right there. Did you read that? No. People get married all the time and don't really know about what is going to happen after they get divorced. And then when they get divorced, they're in the courtroom crying, trying to delete themselves because of the consequences of that contract they signed. People always sign documents and don't know what's going on. So imagine being 18 years old, troubled background, homeless, and you sign something thinking that, hey, these people love me, I'm going to be adopted, and it's not quite what you thought, okay? It's not quite that way. But let's get into the article here to see what's going on. And these are allegations on both sides on Michael Oher and the Tuohys. So I'm not saying either side is right or wrong. I'm just presenting what I have right now. This is a pretty interesting case. I don't know. I think there could be some confusion going on, or there could be some corruption. People talking about the race element, that's, in my humble opinion, inappropriate. I don't think that's what's going on here. Of course, there are things that happen when you're talking about race. Colin Kaepernick, obviously, throwing his white parents, adoptive parents under the bus after he became woke. I don't think that's what's happened. I think it's more of a lawyer thing. And then now we getting family and whatnot involved and feelings and history involved. It can get really messy. That's probably what's going on. But I would love to know why you can adopt adults right now in Tennessee and Mississippi, but you couldn't adopt them back then, like in what, 07? What law changed since then? Is it the same law on the books right now than was back then? And if it is the same law on the books, why a conservatorship? And if you want to get off it, why not just ask, hey, can I get off it? Why do we need court action? Okay, and can we get a detailed, can we get a money trail from the blind side and see exactly where it went, who got paid, when they got paid? Can we get some accounting? Can we get some transparency on that? Because obviously we have some questions that should be answered. But as I close, I want to say this. Hopefully, this is not what it appears to be. It appears like the Tuohys robbed Michael. Maybe it's just lawyers doing their thing, kind of getting in the way. We know how that works. Sometimes lawyers say, hey, this is what's going on, and it's not really what's happening, and they tear families apart because they want to get their piece of the pie. It's not even about those who they are trying to represent getting their money. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What is your opinion about what's happening here? Do you think Michael Oher is telling the truth that he was tricked into signing a conservatorship and rather than being adopted, and he was kind of robbed of some money? Or do you think that the father is saying the right thing, that they didn't make any money, they made money from the book, X, Y, and Z? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm staying. I think there could be something here, but maybe there isn't. I want to get more information before I say one way or the other whether Michael Oher is right or the Tuohys are right. I hope that this isn't what I think it is, which is him getting taken advantage of and robbed by the family. I hope it's not that, because they appeared to be a pretty good family. The story was a good story. I hope it's not what I think, but if it is, I'm not surprised. We've seen it before. If you ever seen a documentary, ESPN 30 for 30 broke, money has no color to those making it be about race, black, white, ungrateful, black child. Money has no color at all. It could be green, it could be red, bronze, silver, digital, black and white, binary numbers. It could be that. We've seen people do the craziest things to their own biological children, the biological parents, all for that almighty dollar. Hopefully it's not that. Hopefully it gets resolved, but it doesn't look too good right now. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.